G'day folks, Adam here from Ruslan Foundry. Tonight we are having a look at the biggest model I've shown you to date. That is the Corris coach. I'm going to have to do things a little bit differently because it is simply so big. So in your Corris coach kit you get two halves of the chassis, which we'll see how that works in a minute. We get two halves of the body. These are handed. In this case, we are assembling the brake version, but if you had the passenger version, double saloon, you'd have mirror image of this. We've got an infill panel that goes between the two saloon sections. We have two doors. We have, in this case, 5 seats. You would have 9 if you had got the double saloon coach. Then you either have 2 pieces that make up the roof, if you get the round top roof, or tonight I'm going to be assembling it as the clerestory roof, which we've got the 2 halves of. The assembly of these 2 roofs is exactly the same. Your small parts that come with it are 4 3mm carbon fibre rods, 1 or 2 depending on if you get goods saloon brake or double saloon, 2mm styrene rods, and 4 3mm styrene rods. I've only got 3 to hand, but you would get 4. Then we also get 4 10mm magnets and 4 5mm magnets. So to start off, I've cut a few corners and I have got a pre-made clerestory roof. This will simply mean I can get my polarities right. So I'll sit that upside down here. We will take the 10mm magnets and let those bond to there. Next, we're going to get the 2 halves of our clerestory roof. We get our trusty glue, which is Sealy's Oilflex. We also need a 3mm drill bit, which I've got in my trusty powered screwdriver. So we just want to give the guide holes a kiss, which, as we can see, they're perfectly fine. We grab the other half and see we've got guide pegs. The clerestory roof has also got sockets for if you want to put lights in it, and channels for the wiring if you so desire. So we take our glue. As I said, this is the biggest model I've attempted to do on camera, so I'm doing my best. We run a bead of glue all the way around the seam. We get 2 of our pieces of carbon fibre rod and we put in those holes. When we get the other half of the roof, we just put a little bit of glue on the holes of this one so it gets pushed in front of the carbon fibre. And we push that together. The roof aligns perfectly. You want to wipe the glue so it's nice and smooth. Then we take our glue again, we put it in the sockets for the magnets, and we take the magnets off this roof, making sure that they don't flip, and we put them in their pockets. So now that roof is ready to use, and I'll put it to one side. Okay, next we want to do the magnets in the bodies. So the magnets have decided to hide. So yet again, we're going to use our glued roof. Now you can use your normal roof for that. I'm just saving myself some pain. So in the top of our saloon end, in this case, we put a little bit of glue, and then here is our brake end. As you can see, it's enclosed, just with windows in the end, and a nice hole if you want to hang a lamp on the back. And we put some glue in there. We now, yet again, take the magnets off there. This time we do want to turn them 180 degrees. And the little 10mm magnets just fit perfectly in there. Next we got our magnet, turned it over, and we push it into that hole. There we go. Okay, next we want to get our 5mm magnets. We'll put our roof to one side, because we're done with that now. 5mm magnets. So, we take our glue, we get our doors, and we put a dab of glue in the pocket in the door. We get our magnets, and we put a magnet, a single magnet, in the door. We get our other door, we do the same thing, and it just pushes into the hole that is already in the door. So there's our doors, and then our bodies have got matching holes. Glue both of them at the same time. And as I've dropped my magnets, grab another couple. And so we want to apply that to the door, and these want to be turned over 180 degrees so they attract to hold the doors shut. As you see, the pockets in the doors, these have had no tidying up at all. Right, our next step on the saloon part of the coach, we want to take our 2mm styrene, and that fits through these little brackets, making a handrail. We'll just grab a pair of scissors, because styrene doesn't take a lot of cutting, and cut that to length. Voila! So yet again, our glue. We just put a little bit on the end of there, a little bit on the end of there, and we'll just smear a little bit on all of the join points, thus stopping it from escaping. So now we have the handrail. If you were assembling the standard saloon coach, you would repeat that step. Next, we have our chassis. So we want to just ream out the holes in here. And the holes for the under chassis stay. Okay, and we're just going to check these for length. So that one will disappear completely. That one is a bit tight still. So we've drilled out the chassis to a clearance fit, 3.3 millimeters, and we have cut some short pieces of carbon fibre rod, and then we have a full length piece as well. So next we grab our trusty glue and we cover that surface, paying careful attention to get plenty in the holes for the rod. And then we put our two short pieces in the outside. We've just made sure that they'll interface in the other half easily. And we're a bit tight there. There we go. Now that will go all the way in. We'll grab the other half of our chassis, and like with the roof, we just put some glue in the holes, making sure we haven't got any foreign matter coming up these, which we have in this case from the drilling process. And then we align these on their pegs and push the whole kit and caboodle together, making our chassis. Next, we turn it on its back and we insert some 3mm rod, threading it through each part of the chassis in turn and figuring out our length. We then want to push that back through and cut it off. Pushing it into there, which will back up slightly, and apply some glue into that socket in the chassis and feed that in there. Next we come in from the other end, push that up to there and cut him to match. We yet again fill this hole, pushing this down and feeding it back slightly. And now we want to, I've cut that slightly short, just apply a little bit of glue onto those joins. Now the other side we do the same, we won't worry about that. Now you'll notice that our chassis is handed. So what we need to do is figure out which side's which. The obvious bit is our step brackets are on the side the handrails are on. So, and this will partially show our final assembly. We feed our door into there, and the body locks onto locating to lugs. Here's our lugs, and in the body you've got these. So same with the guard end. We sit our door in, we offer our door up. As you can see, I've got that wrong, and the body drops on. Our final step in the body assembly, we get our infill. This will be easier if we turn the whole thing around. We set that in there. It's cut out to sit on the chassis. So we simply apply some glue to these lugs and down here, and glue to these lugs and down here. And that drops in there and fits like a glove. Now the next step would be you take it out to the shed and you paint it. The standard livery of these coaches was brown with gold trim, but I'm sure they would be quite fetching in whatever livery you chose. Our seats, which are all little loose ones, once you have painted everything, bring it back in, you run a bead of glue around the mating surfaces of the body as one unit to the chassis, sit it together, and it goes together. There you go, it comes off like so. That was just a door falling out. Alright, our seats simply sit in there either side of the locking lug, giving our nice toast rack seating. In the case of this guard version, we won't put seats in the guard compartment. And finally, the seat goes in here like so. With that done, a roof, which in this case we're using the Colestri, will magnetise on, and we have one complete coach. The standard bogie I use for these models is my long wheelbase, long reach Fox bogie, which these are available if needed. This model is available in 16mm as well, and that version is available in both bogie mounted couplers and body mounted couplers. I can do that with the 7/8 too. Thank you for watching. This model is available for sale via our Facebook page, email or phone number. If you've enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and so on. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.